Are you struggling with double faults and you're not getting enough spin in your serve? It may be with one position you're not hitting in your serve that's actually causing it. So in this video, I'm going to show you really quickly how you can fix that and how you can start making more of your serves with more spin and more safety and more margin so you don't feel nervous when you're out there. So what position am I talking about? Now, one quick preference. This drill will be amplified and you'll get more results if you know how to use a continental grip. Doesn't mean you can't use a continental grip with it, but if you have the use or understand how to use a continental grip, then it's going to help you so much. And if you don't know how to do that, make sure you check the description or the video at the end, because I'll tell you exactly what video you need to watch to learn the continental grip to make sure you can amplify this to the next level. So what am I talking about? I was doing a lesson and she was struggling with her serve, and the biggest thing was she wasn't getting in this one position that could really help her. She had everything. She had the continental grip, everything, but the ball kept flying. She could produce a little spin, but not enough to bring the ball down the court. So let me explain. What was happening is she would take the racket up and she would get into this position here. Now, if you notice my elbow, especially from this view, you can really see how my elbow is still pretty much lined up with my body. I've even seen it worse with a lot of beginners sometimes, where what they do is they serve and they're gonna put their elbow on this side of their body. That's the big issue. What you want to do is when you're taking the racket back, you want to pull your elbow on the other side of your body. So notice here to here. Now, this is the key of how you do it. It's not about, at least I think, it's not about shoving your elbow back and stressing this out. Really, it's about if my arms are up just like this, which keeps it aligned, all I need to do is coil a little bit and it changes everything. Just think of a baseball pitcher or a football quarterback. What do they do to make sure, boom, they coil, not just take the arm back? Same thing with a baseball pitcher, they coil. Now, that's just the mechanics of how you coil, but when we're talking about the serve, what that does by coiling this way, it does a couple things. A, it allows you to put more power on the ball because you use more of your body, but in the context of adding spin, it allows you to come across the ball more. Because see, if our arms are lined up like this, if I line it up like this, yeah, I could put a little spin on it, but it's a lot of work. Compared to if I now coil, I can come across the ball even more. Maybe you could hear the sound of how much brush is on that ball, because by coiling allows me to go more left to right aggressively, where if my arm or my elbow's in this position, it kind of shuts down and then you have to do it from your arm. So what kind of drill do you need to do to start working on this so you can have more spin on your serve, more safety, margin, and feel confident that when you step on the court, your serve's not gonna break down? So the very first thing I want you to do is simply put your racket down. Hold your arms up just like this. And all I want you to do is get used to turning a little bit. Now, my body right now, or my chest is facing towards or along the baseline. And all I want to do is, if I put my hand in the center of my chest, I'm going to turn it towards the back corner of the fence. So I'm not turning it all the way back towards this, I'm turning it halfway. So if you just practice, you can leave your hands here. Just practice turning. Just practice turning a couple times to get used to this feeling of your coil. From here, all I want you to do is shadow the motion. So get used to coiling, okay? Notice how my elbow position, because I'm turning, is coiling. And this coil allows you to come across the ball. And then we're gonna add one more shadow in. We're gonna coil and come across the ball, meaning I'm going left to right. Obviously, if you're a lefty, you're gonna go from right to left. And so this action starts to help you learn how to come across the ball, compared to having it here, and you can hit a little spin, but really, it's not the spin you really want if you wanna have a confident serve. And so now what you're going to do is really start focusing on coming across the ball. Now, I don't care if it goes in, just come across the ball. So now I'm going to go here and across. Okay? Yes, I did miss that, but there's a point to that. Because if we focus on too many things at once, guess what? You get neither one. So we're just focusing on coming across the ball. And what you're going to feel is, man, I can really, A, come across the ball, but B, because I'm coiling, accelerate across the ball. And this is why this is important. Just like in a forehand, if I get a little nervous, I can accelerate and create topspin to bring the ball down into the court. It's the same thing we want to do to be able to hit it on our serve. Now, if you have achieved this acceleration from coming across the ball, and you're like, but that one and that, then the next area to adjust is your racket face. So on the last ball, my racket face was probably a little too close, hence going in the net. So I'm going to open up just a little bit. And if I adjust it and open it up, I get that ball. Now, you may be on the side of now, you're creating so much spin, but there's no penetration. I got the fix for that too. So let's go back to a forehand. If I'm creating a ton of spin, not enough penetration, it means I need to go through the ball as I'm coming up. So that same action needs to come up or happen when you're above your head. Meaning right now, you're thinly coming across. It's just particularly probably just coming across. So now what we want to do is come across into the court. So you can see with the camera there, I'm coming across towards the camera versus before I was coming across the ball. So if I go through the court a little bit more and still come across, you get more ooh, you get a lot more. And so you can gauge it depending on how nervous you get. If you're really nervous, you just need to get it in, come across the ball a lot more. If you want a little bit more on it, come through the court a little bit more. If you want a little bit more on it, come through the court and even more. And that's how you can get your serve to be super dependable and reliable in the toughest of situations. So again, if you need to know how to use that continental grip, go watch this video because it'll explain and break it down exactly how you can learn to use your continental grip, and it'll take the results you can get from this video to the absolute next level.